3 allegedly true horror stories that take place in rural areas, sent in by viewers just like you. Story number 1. The Hitchhiker on Route 17. This happened to my dad back in 1996. He was driving home from a late shift at the paper mill. Middle of nowhere, 2-lane country road. No streetlights, just cornfields and the occasional farmhouse silhouette. At around 2:15 a.m., he sees a guy on the shoulder, arm out, thumb up, wearing what looks like a brand new Letterman jacket. White sleeves, dark body, big red W. Dad's the type who never picks anybody up, but this night, he says something just compelled him. He pulls over. Guy opens the back door instead of the front, slides in without a word, pulls the door shut. Dad glances in the rear view, can't see the guy's face, it's just shadow. He asks, "Where you headed?" Silence. Then the man says, in a voice that sounds like it's coming from the bottom of a well, "Keep driving." Dad's skin crawls, but he figures maybe the guy's drunk or disoriented, so he rolls on. About 5 miles down, the road bends hard left. There's a small bridge over a creek. The moment the headlights sweep across the guardrail, the interior light pops on by itself. Dad checks the mirror. Back seat is empty. He slams the brakes, gets out, circles the truck. Nobody. No footprints in the gravel shoulder. Nothing. He looks over the bridge. Creek's maybe 8 feet down, shallow. No splash, no sound. He's spooked, but he chalks it up to exhaustion. Next morning, he's telling the story to the neighbor. Neighbor's face goes white. Pulls out a newspaper from 3 days earlier. Front page. Local high school senior, captain of the wrestling team, found dead in that exact creek, wearing a Letterman jacket with a red W. Accident happened at 2:15 a.m. They buried him in that jacket. Story 2. The Scarecrow that moved. I grew up on a farm in southern Illinois. Big soybean operation. 200 acres, mostly flat. One October, we were harvesting late. Sun was already down, and Dad had me ride the last field with him on the combine to learn responsibility, which really meant keep him awake. We finish around midnight, park the combine by the barn. I hop down and notice something off. At the far end of the field, there's a scarecrow on a post. Except we don't use scarecrows. Crows aren't a problem for soybeans, and Dad thinks they're hokey. I ask Dad, "When'd you put that up?" He squints, says, "I didn't." The thing's just standing there. Burlap sack head, flannel shirt, straw poking out everywhere. Wind's dead calm, but the scarecrow's arms are swaying, slow like it's underwater. Dad mutters something under his breath, tells me to get inside. I do, but I keep watching from the kitchen window. Scarecrow's still moving. Then it steps off the post, just steps down, starts walking across the field toward the house. No hurry, just slow, deliberate strides. I yell for Dad. He grabs the 12 gauge. By the time we're back on the porch, it's halfway here. Dad racks a shell, fires a warning shot into the air. Scarecrow doesn't flinch. Second shot, dead center. The sack head snaps back, but there's no hole, no straw flying, just a sound like wet canvas. It keeps coming. Dad's shaking now. He yells at me to start the truck. We peel out of the driveway, high beams on the field. The scarecrow stands still now, watching us leave. We stayed at my uncle's place in town that night. Came back at dawn with the sheriff. No Scarecrow. Post is gone too. But there's a trail of muddy footprints leading from the post hole all the way to our back porch. Bare human feet, size 13, sunk deep. Sheriff photographs, shrugs, says he'll file a report. We never found out what it was. Dad sold the farm 2 years later. I still have nightmares about burlap faces. Story 3, The Church in the Pines. Last one comes from a guy named Kyle in rural Georgia, 2018. Kyle and 2 buddies are doing a weekend road trip, taking back roads for the scenery. Around dusk, they're on this single-lane asphalt ribbon cutting through the Chattahoochee National Forest. No cell service for miles. They round a bend and see a tiny white church nestled in a clearing. Weathered clapboard, steeple with no bell, doors wide open. GPS shows nothing but green for 20 miles, so they pull over to check it out. Inside, rows of pews, dusty hymnals, altar with a single candle burning. No sign of anyone. One of Kyle's friends jokes about ghosts, snaps a photo on his phone. Flash illuminates the back wall. There's a second set of pews behind the altar facing the other direction. They laugh, figure it's some artsy renovation, and leave. Back on the road, Kyle glances at the photo. Behind them, in the doorway of the church, stands a tall figure in a black suit, white collar, like an old-time preacher. Face is just smeared, like someone dragged a finger across wet paint. They swear nobody was there when they took the shot. 5 minutes later, the car dies. No sputter, just cuts out. Engine, lights, everything. They're coasting downhill, so they roll to the shoulder. Under the hood, every single wire has been gnawed through, clean as scissors. They grab flashlights, decide to hike to the nearest mile marker for help. As they walk, they hear singing, low, shape note kind of harmony, coming from back up the hill. They turn around. Church is lit up like noon inside. Silhouettes fill every pew, all facing the backwards pews at the rear. Preacher figure stands at the altar, arms raised. Singing stops. Every head turns to look at them. They bolt. After maybe 20 minutes of running, they hit a ranger station. Real lucky, ranger's still on duty. Ranger listens, then asks, "You boys messing around near the old Pine Haven Church?" They nod. Ranger sighs and says, "That place burned down in 1979. Lightning strike during a revival. Whole congregation inside. 43 souls. Nothing left but the stone foundation. Whatever you saw wasn't there anymore." Ranger drives them back to their car. Engine starts fine now. Wires intact. Kyle checks his phone. The photo is just black. Country roads, remote fields, forgotten chapels. Sometimes the emptiest places are the fullest. If you've got a true story of your own, send it to nisrobercan@gmail.com. Make it neat and let me know how you'd like the stories. Until next time, take the highway.